Welcome to Moving Forward Healthcare and BTNC's Nutritional PowWow. We are here every Thursday at 12. Please send us your questions. You can DM Arnetra and I on any of our respective platforms. We want to hear from you so we know how to continue to serve you. Now, based on the feedback and the response for this show, we're going to touch on the following topics: good options for lunch, all about salads, the myth associated with the nutritional values of salads, tools to prep for your lunch, whether you're prepping for it or someone else is prepping for you. And we have a live real-time question from one of our viewers oriented around muscle gain versus weight gain. And with that being said, Nitra, we're going to jump right into it.
All right.
When you're at work or you're at a conference or you're somewhere where you're not managing your options for your food, what are some tips and some tools that we can use when we're in that situation?
Oh man, I wish I could see everybody's face on that one. How often have you been in a situation like this one where you're in company meetings on a regular basis and there's only about 4 places they order from, you know the menu inside and out, and you don't like any of them. But guess what? No fear. There's always a protein option. There's always some type of carbohydrate, and there's always some type of vegetable. So if it's a sandwich meal, right? Lunch in a box, you've all experienced it. You don't want all the bread. You think it's going to, cause you to be a little bit sluggish. Take that bread off. Just focus on eating the meat. They might even have chips. You know what? Have a bag. It's okay. Have the fruit that's there. Have the side salad. But drink your water. And most importantly, avoid that candy bowl. You know it's going to be there. If it's a sit-down meal, then guess what? There definitely is going to be a protein, a vegetable, and a carb option for you. Pick the one that works best for you and don't overthink it. It's still a work function. This is not social hour. Enjoy the meeting. Enjoy your food. Move on.
All right. Great answer. I love that. I love the options, and stay away from that candy bowl, y'all.
Yes, everybody.
All right. So our next topic is the myth about salads, right? Like, that was my go-to because I love me some Chick-fil-A salads, right? Like, let's talk about the myth about salads. What is this thing, the true nutritional value of salads? Like, how is that beneficial, not beneficial? I don't want to label it like salads have no purpose. That is certainly not where we're going with this question that was asked of us, but what is the nutritional value? Is it better to eat a burger? Is it better to eat the Chick-fil-A sandwich? Is it better to eat the meal versus the salad because of the caloric nutritional value trade-off that we're having here? Let's get into it.
All right, good one. So before anybody writes us and say that we are anti-salad, no, we are not anti-salad. But the point is, when we eat our meals, right, and especially when it's not just a social function, we're just trying to enjoy things, you want to eat things that really serve some purpose, that not only taste good, but provide nutrients. So when you think about a typical salad that you can buy out, it's usually iceberg lettuce, maybe a little bit of romaine thrown in there, right, to make you feel like it's a darker green. But the fact is, regular iceberg lettuce is just water. So you aren't really getting any nutrients. And what happens with that, you're probably going to be pretty hungry shortly thereafter. But also pay attention to what else is in the salad, especially one you did not make. It's usually fried chicken. There may be cheese in your salad. There may be croutons. There may be a bunch of fruit and mixed nuts and then dressing. And I promise you, all those things combined in one salad has turned into a 1,000-calorie salad, where if you had made your own meal or chose a different meat, protein, and vegetable, and you're going to hear me say that a lot. I'm sorry. If you had chosen a meat, a carb, and a vegetable, it would have been a little bit different, right? It could have been a 500-calorie meal versus that 1,000-calorie salad. So the point of this conversation is salad doesn't have to be your go-to. If you just love them, have intention behind it. But if you don't love salads, focus on that hot meal and think very sensibly, this is what I'm going to eat, and then portion control it.
Awesome. So yeah, it's a lot of people, a lot of my clients when I was training, that was like their number one thing. And then what I want to point out to them was, so you eat your salad at 12:30, 1 o'clock, and by 2 o'clock, you're hungry and you eat something that's not good, or you reach for that candy bowl because you don't have enough energy to sustain your brain power and your physical power. So it's like when you put diesel fuel inside of a car that runs on high octane gas. It's going to run incorrectly. You might mess up the engine. And it's the same thing with when you're picking food with nutritional value that match the goal. I love when you said be intentional behind your choices, right? So if you're going to eat a salad because there's absolutely nothing else and you want to stay on track, then you might want to get some extra protein or something extra, a carb or something that will help bolster that salad a little bit more.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about food prep for lunch, right? Now, there's two options when you talk about food prep. You're prepping it yourself. You have keeping your food warm while you're at work. And are you getting a chef or someone else to prepare your food? Let's get into it, Nisha. What are some of the best practices to have a successful nutrition program when you're talking about food prep for lunch?
Yes. And in this one, everybody, you want to always think about good, better, best. Because sometimes we start to overcomplicate things because you want it to be perfect. It's not always going to be perfect. So again, good, better, best. Best scenario, you made it probably from your dinner leftovers. And dinner is usually the one where we always will have a great protein, some type of vegetable, and some type of carb, right? It's probably the most balanced meal that most people will eat. That's our best option. Our better option, you know what? Maybe we don't have those things. Maybe you're those people who I don't like leftovers. I don't want to eat it. I hate that. Okay. So let's talk about what we can do on the fly. Maybe it's boiled eggs. Maybe you take some yogurt, good amount of protein there. Maybe you have some additional fruit, right? We need some good fats. Maybe you bring some mixed nuts in your lunchbox. You always must have your water though. Maybe you bring some cucumbers with tomatoes and some balsamic vinegar. That's a great quick lunch item. Add some protein to it on the side, right? That's a better option. Good option. You know what? All else fails. I've just got to go buy something. You can always buy a meal from the grocery store. Don't overlook that one. Many of you all are close to a Publix, a Wegmans, a Harris Teeter, or Publix. You can always pick up your meals at the grocery store, or you just got to eat out. You can eat at Pollo Tropical. Shoot, you can even go to Taco Bell and figure out how you can get 3 regular tacos and be just fine and still be within a calorie that you want for your meals that fit in with your lifestyle and fit in with your goals. So don't overthink it, but make good choices. Think about the intent.
Right. So I love how you pointed out how you can have better options when you know ahead of time where you're going to eat. That is a practice Arnetra and I actually share in managing when I have to go on the road for business. Is I send her the menu of where I will be eating or my food options. And there's a Whole Foods right by where I usually stay. And so we're able to plan ahead of time what I'm doing. So when I go, I'm tired. I've had, 6 hours of talking to people. I'm ready to go pass out in my hotel room. And then I know that, listen, I just pull out my list that we talked about and I go get these 3 items. I'm out of the store. I'm in my hotel room, eat dinner, pass out. It makes life it makes it consistent and easier to manage when you manage as much as you can on the front end. And that's one of the things Arnetra provides is actual real life management of the scenarios you're dealing with pertain to you. So it's customized nutrition.
And if you all think that's a joke and you think she is playing, no, this is a real scenario. Tracey's traveling. She's in Miami. Literally, she's done. Dead tired. Misha, I'm standing in Whole Foods. Walk me through. Let's talk about what I can get at this Whole Foods. She's literally texting me everything that she sees in the Whole Foods just so we can manage the rest of the dinner and then what she can potentially have for the next day. So it's real life. Many of my clients do it real life.
Yeah, and I am tired, and I want all the chocolate because I'm tired. I want the pizza because I'm tired. Like I want all the stuff that's going to be like, but because we have a plan in place, it keeps me on track. And guess what? After I eat, I feel so much better versus if I had eaten something that was not going to give my body, hear me, the nutritional support needed to manage the output that I just did for that day. Did y'all hear that part? She gives me options on how to feed my body what it needs because of what I did. So that way, when I finish eating, one of the key factors that I know that I ate right is immediately within 15 minutes, sometimes immediately, my energy level, and I uptick, and then I go hit the gym, right, for my evening workout. That's me. But you definitely can tell you sleep better. Like all these things fall into place when you make good nutritional choices when you've had a long day. And sometimes we want to reach for that old fashioned.
Yeah,
but I don't, because I'm going to feel terrible after I drink it. It's going to make me even more irritable, and it's going to disturb my sleep. And that is a real time response. So that being said, we're going to jump into a question from our viewers that was sent to us ahead of time. I have lupus and recently experienced a health crisis that caused me to lose a lot of weight. What supplements can I take? Why or why not? And what is the best options?
Well, we're starting to hear this all too often. I don't know if you all are paying attention, but more and more individuals are experiencing autoimmune diseases, and the physician world is not always that quite sure why. And there are more than 80 different kinds of autoimmune diseases. And by the way, they affect women at 2 to 1 for men. So when you think about that is a compromised body, when we want to talk about how we're going to gain weight, how we're going to maintain muscle mass, what's really important is that we do it in a way that is feeding the body with natural foods. When you want to think about weight gainers, protein powders, this is already a compromised body. And in compromised bodies, we need to put whole foods in it. So we're not only helping you with your goal, but we're helping you with your overall health so that we can do it the right way. And remember, anytime somebody needs to gain weight, and there's 2 different ways that we're talking. If it's just that you want to gain muscle, right? But if somebody's been sick or they are sick, they may be losing muscle mass, weight, all these things are happening. So it's going to be a slow process, but in order to do it, it means we've got to start to eat at a surplus. And for a lot of people to eat in a surplus, we've got to actually get them eating to maintenance and then gradually build them up to eating in a surplus. So it takes some time, and it takes very thought out planning to make sure we do it the right way. And why do we want to do it the right way? If you don't do that the right way and we just say, oh, I'm just going to protein powder it to death. You know what? I'm just going to like whey protein. I'm going to creatine it. I'm just going to take weight gainer. You know what's going to happen when we don't exercise with those things? We're going to get fluff. And we're going to end up a little swollen and a little fluffy. And it's not going to be that nice lean muscle, that nice lean body mass that we're trying to accomplish.
There you go. No fluff. You want the bust?
I don't want that.
We're trying to look like the Pillsbury Doughboy from what's that, Ghostbusters? I'm like dating myself now, right? Anyway, or the Michelin tire man with the rolls. Ain't nobody trying to do that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead now and jump to our live Q&A. These questions are rolling in. But before we jump into the Q&A, please send your messages and your response and your questions to all of Moving Forward Healthcare or BTNC social media profiles. We will post those in the chat as well and share. Look for us, Moving Forward Health, BTNC Orlando. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. So you guys have no excuse in how you can't find us. And YouTube. We have our YouTube channel as well. So please follow up. The more you share with us the questions and your concerns, the more we can position ourselves to help you. This is to help our community get healthier by providing you guys with this source and resource, okay?
And don't be afraid, everyone. It doesn't matter what you ask. If you're nervous, if you get uncomfortable, don't worry, because Tracey and I will not be uncomfortable. So ask away.
At all. Like zero. We are not shy. All right, so we're gonna jump right now into our Q&A. And by the way, guys, if we do not answer your questions, please, we know that we will address them in our post, our follow-up, or we will bring it up in our next show. But we are definitely going to answer your questions. And that being said, here we go, jumping right into our Q&A.
All right.
All right. Okay, so all right, so we got a few questions that was sent ahead of time. Um, this is few of them are from Facebook, and few of them are from YouTube. So we're one of the questions that we got was we talked about what you do when you make choices in the conference room, right? What are some lunch options that we can use for lunch in food prep? Like we gave them tips and stuff. We talked about different ideas. We talked about the what you do, but what food, like the top three food choices, would you recommend for lunch?
Oh man, that is so individual, but I'll tell you, any proteins that you enjoy, any type of chicken that's easily warmed up. If you like fish, especially salmon, is easy to warm up. If you are really on the go and you just need something that you can just pop open and you don't even need to warm up, tuna is always a great option, but you always still want to have some protein in there. Boiled eggs is a really easy one. Yogurt, bring it. That's an easy thing to do because you can get a good amount of protein if you're not feeling like you want to eat meat per se. Yogurt is good. When it comes to carb options, I think about things again easily warmed up. Rice, sweet potatoes, easily warmed up. Even spinach, right? If you want to make a wrap, you have your protein, you have your tortilla, you have spinach. You can easily warm that up real fast and not have to even worry about it. Fruit, of course, is always an easy option to complement your lunch. Additional items like maybe a small amount of mixed nuts, those are great things to have in your lunchbox. Let's see, any type of, you know what else a lot of people overlook? Salmon packets. There's some really nice salmon packets that you can get in the store that are just only olive oil and a little bit of salt, nothing else in them. Those are easy. Literally, y'all, you can eat them right out of the bag. So if you feel like I can't cook it, I don't want to do it, I don't want to warm it up, you can pull those out at any time.
Perfect. All right. So as you see me look away, I'm looking at our chat box. That's the I'm answering the questions coming in. So
Awesome,
here's a
because y'all know I
Facebook
cannot see
question.
the chat box at all.
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you. I can hear you very well.
All right. So this is a Facebook question. Oh no, I am your chat box.
Yes, I can't see it at all.
So one of the Facebook questions is okay. How many days a week can I eat hamburger and fries realistically?
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that real question. It's so funny because I just had a status with a client this morning about 9:30, and this is someone who loves beef, all different kinds, right? He's a man. He's over 40, and we had the conversation about, again, nothing wrong with red meat, so don't mistake what I'm gonna say, anyone. But again, studies show excessive amounts of red meat are the gateway to disease, folks. So you really do need to do it in moderation. And so it's on his diet. He has it every week. But he would eat it every day. So to your question, how often can you eat burgers and fries? Let's just stick to the burger for a second. No more than once a week, folks. It carries a lot of fat. Yes, does it have a lot of protein? But you have so many more options that can allow you to feel maybe a little bit better, and can do what you need it to do. But no more than once a week. Don't do that, right? Try not to do that. French fries really is about the oil. It's not the potatoes. So make no mistake. It's not French fries. It's oil. So if you make your own French fries at home in the oven, guess what? You eat potatoes every day. I love them.
All right. So the next question is wings. How bad are they? I know. I know.
Like, what
I'm
we
like,
talking? Wings at like the ale
we're not
house?
going to
Like, what we
validate these
talking?
choices. Okay.
I love it. So again, wings is all about the preparation because we got to remember the fact is it's still chicken. Chicken is great for us, right? Some of you,
Taco Mac. I
yeah,
don't
like
know.
where? Like where are we talking? It depends. Some of you can tolerate chicken, some of you can't. Those of you who love chicken wings, it really is about the preparation. Are they fried, right? Anything that's deep fried, whether it has flour or not, It's the level of oil that is absorbed. That really is where you get into the issue. Sauce, right? Most wings that have sauce, it actually, the base of the sauce is butter. And you probably need, and y'all know it because I make hot wings too, to make some good hot wings and good sauce, you need almost a stick of butter. And if you don't do that, I don't know what kind of hot wings you're making. But you need about a stick of butter. So think about that when you are eating chicken wings. Sauce probably got butter in it. I don't care what kind of sauce you're talking about, unless you just poured it straight out of a jar, right? And that's not good anyway. It has some type of butter in it. So that's really where you start to go a little over the top with the chicken wings. And your calories could be like 2,000. 1,000 calories on chicken wings, and you only had, let's say, like average person, I don't know, let's say it's a guy, you probably could eat 15 of them. Let's say average woman, maybe you eat 8. Some of you might eat 10. Some of you who little small eaters might eat about 5. You probably all right. Everybody else, yeah, we 1,000 calories or above. So if that's what you want for the day, and maybe you're not eating much, great. But if you trying to manage your day and it's just lunch we're talking, that might not be the best option.
All right, so another Facebook question is air fryers. How effective are air fryers when preparing foods like wings and fried chicken? And is that truly a viable option? Is there more good than bad? They want to know about preparing their food in air fryers, specifically the Ninja Foodie.
Listen, any air fryer that you can get, it's just like you putting your food in the oven, but faster. You don't need to put much on it. You can literally just use a little bit of cooking spray and put your food in. You don't have to even use the recommended temperatures. If you wanted to cook a little bit slower because you're nervous that maybe something's going to overcook, you can press a different button. But air fryers, for many of you, is your friend because it kind of takes some of the guesswork. You don't have to manage it. But again, some cooking spray, that's really all you need. And you can put your veggies in there, put your any type of starches. You can put your sweet potatoes, regular potatoes. You can put your meat in there. So those of you who either aren't the best cooks or you short on time, get a large enough air fryer and you can do anything you want in there. So it is a great option.
All right, and next question, this is from YouTube, is talking about juicing. When you juice, right? When you juice, is that a meal replacement or is it just to enhance, in digestion with the food that you're eating? What is the purpose of juicing?
All right. So I want to make sure you all know this one because some people believe that we're going to do cleanses, we're going to do detoxes, and all you're going to do is drink juice, and somehow that's going to clean your body. That is not what's actually happening. And when you don't eat, right, and you think you can only do juicing, all you're doing is actually going to be might be a little dehydrated, you might be a little cranky, and you are missing out on a lot of nutrients that week if all you do is juice. But the purpose of juicing for many individuals is to increase the amount of fruits and vegetables as far as your overall intake. It doesn't replace meals. It doesn't replace eating vegetables. It honestly is just a great way to get additional. Now, the difference is when you juice, you take away all of the fiber. So when you put veggies in a smoothie, right? If you put, let's say you put kale or spinach and all your fruits in a smoothie, you still get some of that fiber. It digests a little bit slower. But when you juice it, you remove the fiber and all you really are left with is the vitamins and minerals. So it's just a great way to get them in your body in a way that for many of you is a little bit more palatable, but it does not replace meals. Be very clear, it does not replace meals and actual eating.
All right, Facebook question. What's the difference between juicing and blending, like making a shake versus, juicing by putting the vegetables in the juicer? Is there really a nutritional benefit, and what's the difference?
I must be psychic, huh? Because I already started to answer some of this question without knowing. So, again, blending versus juicing. When you blend it, you get the vitamins, the minerals, plus you get some fiber. When you juice, you just get no fiber. It's faster. That's all. That's the only difference. And that's why I'm telling you all that no matter what, any type of juicing or even smoothies, it does not replace chewing food and having actual meals. Doesn't replace it. It's just a nice enhancement.
All right. So juicing versus blending. We just answered those questions. Hopefully, the viewer is still on site. If not, we will be reproducing this live so you guys can watch it whenever. All
Exactly.
right. We got time for two more questions and then we're going to wrap it up. This is a short powwow designed to get in and get out while you eat your lunch, learn something, apply something, change something, grow, right? We're greater together. So this last question is oriented around sandwiches and bread and carbs. How is it really bad to eat your bread, and is it really bad to eat a sandwich every day?
All right. So this is where we have to go back to what are your goals? What is the health concern you have or don't have? Or what is it that you're trying to accomplish? So for a lot of individuals, bread just doesn't always sit well with them, but for other people, it's perfectly fine. Now, where it becomes the issue is, does it fit with your goals? So the amount of carbs in bread, no big deal, but you have to balance it out with the other carbs that you're going to eat. And remember that bread is also a processed carb, and we want to get to a point where we have minimally processed food. So if you eat pasta, if you also eat a lot of bread, or if you eat a lot of like pastries, if you eat a lot of other processed items, this is where you get into an issue. And I shouldn't say an issue, but this is where it may not be meeting your goals, right? But eating a sandwich every day is not a big deal. The bread is not a problem at all. It's just, how does it sit in your stomach? How does that digest? Do you feel good? If you notice that you eat a lot of sandwiches and you're really thinking about the bread and you start to feel like your belly is a little bloated or a little puffy, then just pull back a little bit. That's all. Now, the main concern with eating sandwiches, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there, is really if you eat sandwiches with processed meat. So a lot of processed meat is not a great idea. So if you're making your sandwiches from home, maybe you put a piece of fish in it, maybe you've made a piece of chicken, or maybe you made your own burger, great. But if you eat a lot of sandwich meat, that is where I would love for you to just pull back a little bit. And I know you all hear that silence. Tracy's looking.
All right. So, and the last question we got for today is, and guys, all the questions that we missed, we will continue to answer. Before we jump into this last question, please subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share, send your questions in if you're joining us late. If you're watching the broadcast later, send your questions in to us. We want to make sure that we service you guys and we're really answering and helping what your goals truly, truly are. Now, you saw me take a sip of water. And this kills me when I hear people say that too much water is bad for you.
Uh,
So let's talk about water. Realistically, what when you're required to drink, I'm just saying, I'm throwing this out there, 60 ounces a day or 64 ounces a day. Does tea count in your 64 ounce? Does soda count in your 64 ounce? Or is that just straight pure H2O? And really, is it, what are the benefits of really drinking water versus a combination of water and other liquids?
so, Tracy, I have to know right now. We clearly have had this conversation, and clearly people have said this to us. But did this question legit come through today, or is this like, hey, you know what, Nisha, we got to share it? Did somebody
This
ask
didn't
it?
come through today. This was sent yesterday.
Okay, folks. This Tracy and I probably are laughing, and I know I'm trying to contain it, but this has come up to us a couple times from individuals about, hey, we know that drinking too much water is unsafe. Too much water can kill you. Hold on, folks. I'm going to stop you there. Unless you have a kidney problem, literally a diagnosed kidney issue, like you have kidney disease, you're on dialysis, that is where your water must be monitored and you have to stick to a certain amount. Maybe if you have some type of liver disease, maybe your water needs to be managed. But the average individual walking the street, again, unless you have a severe liver problem, you are on heavy medication, you have been told that your water needs to stick to a certain amount, or you have kidney disease, or you are on dialysis. Do not believe that too much water is going to cause you to be sick or kill you. No. No, no, and no, and no. when you think about that, I just want us to do a little bit of like, does that jive test like in your head? I want us to think about, how does that make sense? Do a little jive test in your head, like, that don't jive. That doesn't make sense. And it doesn't. You would have to drink gallons, 4 or 5 gallons of water in what would be a very short amount of time, not even in a span of a day. It would have to be that you somehow ingested 4 or 5 gallons of water like in 2 hours. That could hurt you, and it probably could kill you, but none of you all are drinking 4 or 5 gallons in 2 hours, let's be clear. Even you drinking 2 gallons of water in a span of a day, that's going to do nothing for you. So when we start to think about what water people need and how much, none of you are anywhere close to a level that water is going to be harmful. The average individual, right, you hear it all the time, 8 glasses of water a day. But understand, 8 glasses of water is only 64 ounces. Somebody who weighs about 120 to 125 pounds, that is their minimum amount of water. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you weigh 180 pounds, you weigh 220 pounds, know that your water intake needs to be much higher. You're going to drink 100 ounces, 120 ounces. And if you're somebody who works outside, you sweat a lot, we might need to add a little bit more. To my athletes on, you know you need a lot more than that. You're going to need more than your body weight plus all the additional based on how much you're sweating. We might need an additional like 40 ounces just because of how much you sweat in your activity. Okay.
Well, it's interesting to hear about water. I have a real time story with my mom, right? Like her doctor told her she drinks too much water. And I thought that came out of a physician's mouth. And I love my white coats. They have purpose. And I was once on track to become a member of that club. But it just absolutely grieves my soul when I hear stuff like that come out of the mouths of physicians telling someone they drink too much water.
And if you all don't believe this actually happened last week. Last week, a physician told Tracey's mother that she drank too much water. That's why her ankle was swollen, because she drank too much water.
Water pills.
That would have dehydrated Tracey's mom, guys, by the way.
Anyway, shout out, mommy. We love you. But it's like all this is to let you know that all the topics we talk about, people are experiencing. These are real questions that are coming in. They're real situations. And I'm so happy and thankful that you guys are participating in this. We have 2 more episodes for the month of August showcasing lunchtime powwow effects and, problem solution tips, schedules, food choices, recipes. Send your questions in to all of our social media outlets. And Nitra?
And don't forget, everybody, again, lunch, just like breakfast and dinner, is just another meal. So make sure that you keep in mind your dinner food. Just bring it as your lunch. You don't like leftovers? Just keep it simple. Think about a protein, a carb, and a vegetable. And remember your portion sizes. Drink your water. And most importantly, get some activity. So make sure you send us your questions. And remember, no question is too simple, or no question is probably too complicated for us. And no question is going to make us feel uncomfortable or embarrassed. I know we got some laughs, but no, all seriousness, you can send anything you like. So see us again next week, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, family. We'll see you guys next Thursday at noon. Please send your questions in. Like us, subscribe, follow BTNC Orlando or Moving Forward Health. We thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your lunchtime. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Yeah.